Bienvenidos and a very, very warm welcome to Travels with Sheila in Medellín, Colombia. I would like you to meet Andres. It's his company. We are spending 3 days with him, seeing everything that we can around Medellín, and I'm going to ask him to tell you a little bit about his company. Go for it.
Thank you. Well, my company is the second on TripAdvisor, which is very exciting to say, and I feel very proud about that. And well, we only provide private tours, so we try to take people to places that most of the other tour companies don't go, that are safe and that are exciting and very interesting to see. I'm more focused on a lot of coffee tours, chocolate tours, agricultural kind of activities, also history, and of course I can take you anywhere because it's a private tour, so you can customize it.
We're beginning our tour today in Comuna 13, which basically is a slum. It built up of displaced people that first began in the 1950s when the conflict in the countryside, when the people left because they were being murdered. I'm not going to go into all the details, and came to Medellín, and of course built their shacks, etc. I'm going to ask Andres to tell you how the street art actually began in Comuna 13.
So after the paramilitaries demobilized, and there were many social leaders who wanted to work for the community, then one of them, Colacho was his AKA. Colacho, with a K. He wanted to teach the children in the community, and also to try to keep him away from the gangs and drugs and all the violence, to teach him how to paint like a nice graffiti, not vandalized, but to have a nice graffiti, also how to sing rap, how to dance, how to make break dance, and all these kind of elements of the hip hop. So he was teaching them for free how to do that. And
did it begin on the street?
He started in the Comuna 13. Not necessarily in this wall, but he started here. He was from here. He grew up with all this violence that we were talking about in the military operations.
Andres also said statistically that 9 out of every 10 families in the Comuna lost somebody in the conflict, which was basically guerrilla warfare between military, paramilitary.
Comuna is much bigger than you think.
There are 31 neighborhoods within Comuna 13, and with a total population of 300,000. But even in this little place, they've got antiseptic, antibacterial. This was painted by a Brazilian, and it's showing a displaced person leaving his farm and heading for the unknown, which is Comuna 13, basically was his unknown.
This guy represents that the whole community, which is represented by men and women of the community, are keeping the peace active or on. So that's why you see the dove. Colacho unfortunately was killed in 2012. 13, the community here are very hard-working people. That's why you have the ant and the bee, because bees and ants are known for being like hard-working bugs.
I just asked if there was actually any graffitis that Colacho did, but he said no, the graffitis are renovated or redone every couple of years, and Colacho died in 2012.
So this one says, we are all migrants, and the reason it says that is because pretty much everyone had to come here. Not because they wanted to, but because they needed to. Like a farmer's child. And also, if you see the indigenous kind of totem here, it's because many indigenous or native communities have also been displaced. I mean, they don't respect any type of community. Almost 2 million
this is the
Venezuelans here.
I know, they're a sad situation in Venezuela.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like Chiquita banana to me.
We were talking about the black people that live here and everything. So that graffiti is actually related to that, to prevent or finish the discrimination. So it says that even if you're black, outside in the skin, the flesh, the bones, and everything else, inside we're all the same.
Yes, we are.
Doesn't matter the skin
You can't just come out and paint. You need permission from the city if it's on a city wall, or if it's on private property from the owner.
All these graffitis don't really have like a meaning, but they're all related to kind of a Pachamama or nature.
They really went with it. They really went with the flow here. We transform life with color.
Why did they build the escalators here?
I already read about it. It was to save 300 and some steps.
Almost 400.
Almost 400 steps up. That's great. Approximately 1,000 to 2,000 tourists come here a day, which is not many in the scheme of tourism. There are 6 levels of escalators, and of course before they built it, the people were pretty much isolated up at the top. Older people, handicapped people. And this is before and after the escalator. This is after. And you can see in the same exact spot, including the house, before the escalator was built.
It works from 5:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. It has this kind of a military uniform, but then it has like a kind of a nice suit sleeve. So that means the person who painted this, which is Chota is the painter, what he wanted to say is that Álvaro Uribe's hand, and you know that it's Álvaro Uribe because it has like a kind of a president here, kind of a suit. He was a paramilitary, and that's why the military uniform. And he threw the dice playing with the destiny or the fate of the Comuna 13. So the dice, it says 16th October of 2002, which is the date of the Orion operation, and Comuna 13.
So there were only tears and sadness when the operation happened.
Or his...
Justgraf painted this to show the influence of the black community on Comuna 13. I'm not going into all the history, but the 2 birds represent the 2 helicopters that shot up and bombed Comuna 13. And those are supposed to be the tanks. And as you can see, the roofs are all tin, so of course when they shot down from the helicopters, people were killed inside. Many people. 100 people approximately died, and then there were all the people that mysteriously disappeared, knew who the terrorists were, and they would just knock on the door and take somebody away.
In the neighborhood.
Oh, so Chota's still...
He's
well,
like
Chota
kind of
lives here. How old is Chota?
¿Cuántos años tendrá Chota? ¿Por ahí 25? 30.
It's 30, only 30. Hola.
Buenos días, oficiales, ¿cómo
Buenos
estás?
días. Hey, doggy. It is so spread out. Tram 05.
Señores, una consultica, ¿cómo amanecieron?
Those pylons are supporting the cable car that we're going to take. There are 5 different cable cars.
Yep.
The cable cars are considered part of the transportation system, along with the metro and trams.
Okay, you're gonna have one for me.
Oh, look at the hawks up there. Hawks or vultures or something.
And they had to leave the motorcycles down where the car was and then walk all the way up. So now with this, they can be closer to their houses. They go.
This was
the
just
first
built 4
stage,
years ago.
and they are extending it now.
Once again, Chota painted the 5 elements of hip-hop. Dancing, singing, art, whatever the other 2 were. Obviously, all these houses are self-built, and it's fortunate that Colombia has very few earthquakes.
It also has a meaning is that one. That one is a construction worker.
My theory, less bullets, more drinks.
And you see the pistol is actually the L of Colombia.
Andres pointed out that if you look at the blue, it's a heart. Look at that. You could take a helicopter tour. Have no idea. 190,000 pesos per
12 minutes.
person for 12 minutes. So I asked if I could take her picture because she's muy bonita. Very beautiful. Steve and I are sitting here waiting for Andres to come get us, watching the Coca-Cola truck unload. To get behind one of these while it's blocking the whole little road, you're just going to have to sit there and wait.